Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your man EK here, back with another edition, episode 5 of the Clutch Safety Review. We just gonna skip all the intro stuff, man, because I've needed a couple of days to sort of formulate my thoughts on what I'm about to say, right? And to be completely honest, I may let a couple go today, so I want to let everybody know, you know what I'm saying? You got little kids, get them out, you know what I'm saying? Because it's about to be, as people know, who are fans of the NBA, fans of the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets went into Saturday night's game against the Golden State Warriors, having a 3-2 record. No Steph Curry's playing. Klay Thompson is on another team. They have a completely different team now. Boasting guys like Buddy Hield, Lindy Waters III, Brandon Pajemski in the second year, Trace Jackson Davis in the second year. Draymond's obviously still there. Andrew Wiggins is still there. Moses Moody, Kevon Looney, all those guys. But obviously we were expected to win because, like I said, Steph Curry's not playing. And anybody who knows the history between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors understands that from a pure competition perspective, we don't like those guys. You know, whether it be playoffs, regular season, they've pretty much had our way with us. They pretty much had their way with us, whether it be postseason or regular season. I think the win they ended up getting on Saturday was their 15th straight regular season win against us, and they've won 4 playoff series against us in a row, right? Some of them were fair, some of them weren't fair. We're not going to get into all that, but, you know, regardless, you know, there's a healthy disdain, you know what I'm saying, for the Warriors from the Houston Rockets perspective, you know what I'm saying, more than any other modern franchise for sure. And so we go into the game, and immediately, just like every other game this season, dog, what happens? We can't run guys off the three-point line. Defensive rotations are slow. We go down very, very quickly in the first half. We're down by double digits already. I believe we gave up 38 points or something like that in the first quarter. And then we were able to even it out a little bit in the second. But we went into the half being down by almost 31 points. We went down by almost 31 points. Well, we were down by as much as 31 points. I believe the first half score was 70-48, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong on that. Please, correct me if I am. But we were down by a lot, right? And in that first half, pretty much they dominated us in every aspect of the game. They shot 60% from the field and 60% from the three. Buddy Hield was, I believe, 4 for 4, 5 for 5 on three-point attempts. We cannot run guys on the three-point line. We cannot rotate. When we pre-rotate, they beat our pre-rotations. And guess what on offense? The entire thing they did on offense, they just moved their press up. That's all they did. So you know how, like, when you have a ball handler like a Jalen Green or somebody like that, Fred VanVleet, who uses screen and roll heavy, right? Because that's the modern NBA nowadays. Everybody's using screen and roll heavy, right? So to use the screen and roll, instead of letting them get all that space, you just press up a little bit. Make them make a decision. And guess what happened? Every single time, whether they were forcing us to the side because they were pressing us from the side, or whether they were just pressing up, coming straight at us, as soon as we pass half court, trying to get some open looks off those screen and rolls with either Fred and Sengun or Jalen and Sengun. All they did was press up. Draymond Green blew up the entire offensive playbook that we had for ourselves, to the point where we were throwing in guys that we haven't thrown in this year. Jeff Green got some run. Aaron Holiday hit a couple threes. Reed Shepard hit a three, but he was yanked for no good freaking reason. All that type of stuff, man. And for whatever reason, we weren't able to adjust to that, right? And that was really why our offense sputtered. We had no other answer on offense. Because guess what? To be completely honest, we don't have the guys capable to make those type of reads. Knowing that if the trap is coming heavy and the trap you up top, the roller's going to be rolling. They're going to be wide open, at least for a little bit. Get that ball out of your hands, get it to the roller, and now you've got the two guys, whoever they may be, a DB, a Bari, a Tari, a Min, whatever. Well, probably not a Min because he's a point guard. Whatever. The two wings, now all of a sudden they can crash. They can cut to the basket. And now all of a sudden you have free open layups or dunks backdoor off of backdoor cuts from the baseline on either side of the baseline. That didn't happen. That happened once in the first half. Once. It's a very simple mechanism of basketball. It's something that middle schoolers know. It's something that high schoolers know. It's something that all these amateur basketball players know, something that these professionals should know, but for whatever reason they don't know. Okay, whatever. We're down by 31 going into the second half. And before I even go any further, the comments I'm about to make are not for the following individuals. It's not for Tari Eason. It's not for Jabari Smith. It's not for Alperen Sengun. It's not for Aaron Holiday. It's not for Amen Thompson. And it's not for Reed Sheppard. And it's not for Jeff Green or Jock. Jock Landale didn't play. Jeff Green didn't play a little. He didn't get any minutes. So I'm not, they don't even count because they didn't play that much. But those guys, those main guys I just named, what I'm about to say doesn't apply to none of y'all. Okay? Knowing the history, knowing how this fan base feels about these guys, knowing that Steph Curry is not playing. You do that bullshit in the first half? The hell is wrong with y'all, man? No effort, no fight, no intensity whatsoever. And so then we go into the second half, right? And really, the lineup that got us back in the game. Well, first off, we got back in the game because Golden State couldn't hit their free throws. They missed, I believe, 15 to 16 free throws in the second half, which really aided us to getting back in the game. But also, the reason why we were able to get back in the game was, one, because of Tari Eason. Because he was the only guy, wire to wire, who played hard, who actually gave a damn, who was worth a damn. Hustling for loose balls, getting steals, playing himself to exhaustion. To the point where he had to sub himself out of the game. That's how much he was trying to win this game for us. Jabari Smith, he didn't shoot great from the field. Had 21 points, I believe 7 rebounds. He played very, very well down the stretch. Hit some very big threes, including the three to cut it from 119 to 114 to 119 to 117, which then led to us tying it up 119, forcing overtime. So I got to give a lot of props to Barry because, he's gotten a lot of slander over the years from some Rockets fans, for not being Paolo Banchero and everything like that, when obviously their games are nowhere near even close to being the same. But what he does very well, and I'm glad we have him on our team. And the one thing he showed a lot of fight, showed a lot of heart, right? Then Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson had 18 and 11 off the bench, 8 of 13. Another solid performance. He was getting to the rim. He was making great decisions, playing solid defense, rebounding the basketball, helping us get back in the game with his activity on defense, which fueled us to get a lot of open court steals and transition layups off of their turnovers that we were forcing, right? Aaron Holiday came in, hit some really, really good, I guess you could say kept us afloat in the first half and played very solid in the second half. Reed Sheppard played solid in the second half as well. And Alperen Sengun was a part of that defensive lineup that got us back in the game. I know he only played 22 minutes. He only had 14 to 10. He didn't play damn near none of the fourth. Why? I don't freaking know. But, whatever. But he was really a part of the defensive lineup that got us back in the game. So it was really Barry, Tari, Amen, Sengun, and Reed. Those were the guys that really got us back into the game, right? And so the third quarter, we outscored the Warriors. I believe it was 25-37, something like that. And all of a sudden, we go into the fourth quarter. It's a 10-point game. And then we are able to even it out, halfway through pretty much a little bit halfway through the fourth. Because once again, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, these guys were making big shots. Reed hit a big three. All these guys, these are our youngest players. Our youngest players are doing this. Guys that make the least amount of money are doing this, right? Getting us back in the game through their defensive activity. That's really all it was. It wasn't really about a play call. There wasn't a schematic change that happened, right? All of a sudden, the defensive rotations were sharper, right? We were running guys off the three-point line, putting the body on everybody, boxing out correctly, going for every loose ball, contesting every shot. These are just simple things that we didn't do in the first half, right? And then, obviously, the young guys ended up forcing overtime, right? And really, there are 3 guys there are 4 guys I'm super disappointed in, right? I was disappointed in Jalen. Jalen didn't play a great game, but he's been our best player up until this point. So you're going to have a bad shooting night. I'm not going to kill him because other than this game, he's been amazing for us. So it would be disingenuous of me to do that, right? DB had 7.5 rebounds, fouled out of the game. Can't do it. You can't do it. You're making $22 million. You cannot do that. Supposed to be a winner. You're supposed to teach these guys how to win. You're supposed to teach these guys how to play defense correctly. You can't play defense without fouling every fucking time. But once again, bad outing. It is what it is. But as a veteran, I expect more from him. We surely could have used him in the overtime. That's what I'm saying. Fred VanVleet. You know, I was very, very optimistic when we got Fred VanVleet last year. Had some Raptors fans telling me he's not a true point guard, this, that, and the third, or that type of stuff. And then last year, you know, he came in and, you know, he, from a scoring perspective, he's not the most efficient. You know, defensively, he's not really going to do nothing for you. I mean, he's a scrappy defender. He has quick hands and things of that nature, but he's not going to do much for you defensively. But his assist-to-turnover ratio was so great last year. I was like, you know, this is what we needed. We needed a point guard. We needed a smart point guard who had the ability to stem the tide to really control things. You know, but you know what's not stemming the tide, what's not controlling things? When you go 2 for 13 and you play the most minutes out of anybody on the team while also playing the worst. As a veteran point guard, understanding, or at least you're supposed to understand, how important this game is. I understand it's 6 games of the season, whatever. We got 1 million games left, whatever. You make it $44 million, you may not care, whatever. The fact is, dog, you got a lot of people in that building. You got a lot of fans. You got a lot of people in that organization who remember what the Warriors did to us. And for you to come out and play like absolute garbage, not just this game, for the entire season so far, you've been trash. Trash. But you get 40-plus minutes a game. Which leads me to the ultimate culprit in this. And I never thought I'd be calling him out like this, but Ime Udoka. The rotations were trash. The fact that you refuse to pull Tari Eason when he clearly can't even stand up on the court. They let him get a breather because you're so scared about relinquishing the lead once we got back in the game is telling to me. The fact that, for whatever reason, our offensive philosophy is either high screen and roll, side screen and roll with Şengün, and when we can't get to that, guess what? Our offense gets blown up, and now we have to rely on turning our defense into offense, which, you know, is a good thing to have, especially as a young team, but it's not something you can rely on. And then playing Fred all these minutes. I put a tweet out during the game. I was like, listen, when we were making our run, I don't want to see Fred on my TV. I don't want to see him on my screen. And literally, as soon as I tweeted that, Fred's checking back in the game. Reed Sheppard, who had been a part of that defensive line that got back in the game, didn't get any more run the rest of the game. It's ridiculous. It's inexcusable. I understand he makes $44 million. Sit his ass down. He's playing like trash. Sit his ass down. Ime Udoka, you didn't pay him. The team paid him. What he got paid ain't got nothing to do with you. You out there to win games. And you need to put your team in the best position to win games each and every game. And if you got a guy, I don't care how much he's making. He could be making $100 million. That's more of an indictment on him than it is on you if you got to sit him because he's playing like trash. Because in my opinion, Fred VanVleet's play and Ime Udoka's coaching cost us that game. Like I said, we fought so hard to get back in the game. Down 31. You got the young guys really, really trying to spur us back in the game. And you got Ime Udoka who puts this dude back in and is an absolute blank on offense. Can't make a shot to save his life. He did have a couple of good defensive plays. But other than that, for a guy that's supposed to be the leader of your team, the cornerstone of your franchise, you certainly pay him like it. He needs to play better than what he played on Saturday. Without question, he needs to play better than that. And yes, it's his game. Yeah, it's still early. But bad habits like this can translate through a long season. Losses like this, when you get down by so much at home to a team that you have history with, and then you're able to get back into the game only to lose it, not because they were better than you, but because you have a coach that rotate from a rotational perspective didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and then you got a player in Fred VanVleet who can't make a simple pass out of a double team, can't make a proper entry pass, takes ill-advised shots, trying to pull his best Steph Curry impression. You're not Steph Curry, bro. Stop it. listen, at the end of the day, it was a loss. We ended up losing by 6 in overtime. Mostly because of, like I said, the rotations and everything like that. They just weren't where they needed to be. But also, at the end of the day, I think Jonathan Kuminga, he played very well. I think he scored 6 to 8 points in overtime. He had 3 straight drives, layups. He had a turnaround on Jabari, and I think he drove to the cup 2 or 3 times on Jabari, and that was game. That was game. And that was it. And I think I hurt for Tari Eason. I still hurt for Jabari as well, even though, like I said, Jonathan Kuminga got the best of him in the overtime in the one-on-one matchup. But I feel bad for him, too. I feel bad for Amen Thompson. All these young guys, man, who are coming out and playing with extreme heart and intensity. I feel sorry for Alperen Sengun. Because at the end of the day, he was a part of that defensive lineman that got us back in the game. And when you don't have the ability to get an open shot in the overtime, your best offensive player is sitting on the bench for no apparent reason. For no apparent reason. It didn't make any sense to me. Draymond Green's fouled out, bro. He's not in the game. That's when you put Alperen Sengun in. What are you doing? Just leave your 20 and 10 dude on the bench, best offensive weapon on the bench, while you can't score a bucket in overtime. We scored 2 points in overtime, man. 2 points. But regardless, at the end of the day, we're 3-3. We play the Knicks tonight. And hopefully we can come out with the dub. But yeah, man, I just wanted to, get my thoughts on the game I saw Saturday. Like I said, it took me a while to sort of process it. I definitely didn't want to record right after or day after because I was still very, very heated. I'm still kind of heated now, but it definitely would have been worse. So hopefully, we can go ahead and get this dub tonight. And yeah, man, listen, follow me on social media on Instagram at coalition.hoops, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Coalition Hoops. Appreciate y'all. Take it easy.